Hello and welcome to the number one movie podcast, Socks on Movies. I'm your host, Matt, here with my co-host, Jack.
Hello.
And today we will be discussing Steven Spielberg's new hit movie, Disclosure Day.
I don't know if it's a hit.
It made over $100 million already.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So
see
it's
that.
like kind of a hit, shockingly, just for how kind of weird this movie is. But before we get into that, I do want to kind of say off the top. So we recorded a Backrooms episode last week, and it was a good episode. But Jack's internet got completely fucked, and
Yep.
it was about like an hour 40-ish of a pod, and an hour is just lost. Like Jack's video, audio lost. So it ended up being just like a chunk of me talking into the void. So we debated like releasing the beginning of it when it was working, but we weren't really talking about the back room. So for now, we're going to leave it as a lost episode. Maybe one day we'll release it as a special little treat.
Yeah. It was some really good banter between us in those first 20 minutes.
There was some good stuff in there. There
yeah,
was.
so stay tuned for that. If that ever comes out, it'll be a fun
A little
20,
bonus.
30-minute episode.
Yeah, or maybe I'll release that with my audio so you could just hear me talk to nobody and I could just sound crazy. I'll say we both liked the Backrooms.
Yeah.
Good, solid, but yeah, unfortunately that one's lost to time for now. And then before we get into the movie, because I think we both have a lot of thoughts, I guess our timeline was weird because we took a long break after recording a lot, but the Knicks have won a championship.
Woo,
So
go
it's
Knicks.
go Knicks. It's the number one thing that's been on my mind for weeks now. And the fact that they've won is a sigh of relief.
It was insane. It was
So
one of the
insane.
most electric playoff runs, finals runs ever. And
Ever.
they deserved it. Couldn't have happened to a better team, better group of guys, and
It's
the city of New York deserves it.
it's a once in a lifetime type of championship where it's the right team. It feels right. The guys you want to win are doing it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was great, and I got to come out to New York, and we watched Game 5 together, which was so
Yeah.
fun, and just hang out in the city afterwards, and yeah, it was great. Vibes
soaking
were
in it.
all-time high.
Vibes were all time. I've spent too much money already on Knicks merch, championship merch. It's worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%. The absolute best. I can't believe it. And then I guess we'll see what that shouldn't really affect the schedule too much. But I'm shooting a short film next weekend, so I'll report how that went next time. I'm excited. It should be fun. But crazy that I've been working on this for months, almost a year now. So kind of crazy. It's sneaking up on me.
Should I come? Should I come be a on-set set of hands, maybe?
A PA.
Yeah,
You can. Yeah.
maybe. I gotta see what my weekend's looking like, but I probably don't have too much going on.
If you want to come down, you're more than welcome
All
to.
right, we'll talk.
All right, but we're gonna get into Disclosure Day. Not too much off the top here. Just I'm excited to talk about this movie. Jack, before we get deep into it, just some quick thoughts, some quick
Mm-hmm.
overview of what you thought of the movie.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most mixed I've felt about a film in quite some time. There's parts of it that I think are really, really good, and then there's parts that are really lost on me. Obviously, it's technically very well constructed. Spielberg's doing things with the camera that, only he can do. There's a lot of interesting elements in it, but they ultimately don't really get fulfilled in the storytelling the way that I was hoping.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about it, but going in, it seemed like a lot of people were either really in or really out, and I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I think there's a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah, I was really excited because Spielberg was never like my guy growing up.
Same.
I feel like I wasn't shown Spielberg movies in the same way as a kid. I didn't see Jurassic Park until like a year or two ago.
Really?
Like the full movie. I'd seen bits and pieces of it. I never like saw this whole thing sitting down front to back. I'd seen like Jurassic Park 3 or something because it was on TV. But there's still a handful of his movies I haven't seen. But I only really started to appreciate how good of a director he was over the last handful of years. And thankfully, it's coincided with him making great movies. I've really loved The Fabelmans, and I loved his West Side Story, one of the better musicals of the last 10 plus years. He's awesome, and some of his movies going back, I really appreciate how good they are. I respect the hell out of him. Even if he's not maybe one of my like favorite directors, his talent is like unparalleled. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you watch one of his movies and you're like, oh. So I went in with high anticipation because it's a Spielberg alien movie, and like his alien movies rule. And I was a little disappointed. I felt like from the jump, and we'll get into it, the energy was just kind of weird with this one. And sometimes I think about, movies almost, I don't know, from like a top-down perspective. Like, when you're a director or a writer, you have like a story idea, and like what angle are you coming in from? What's the angle you're going to take? And I just felt like they approached the story. I don't think they came at it from the right angle, personally. I think you're right, there's things to like. I think there's some really good directorial choices. But I struggled a little bit to like really sink my teeth into this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole angle of the film is about revealing information. And as the audience, you kind of learn stuff as certain characters do throughout the way. But then the whole climax of the film is like, here's what aliens are doing, and it's like, okay, we already know this.
All right, I'm glad. So I'm on the same page. So yeah, spoilers, whatever. We're gonna get into it. Because we can backtrack and do whatever. But my big issue is, this is an alien movie, and there's aliens and reveals. I like the design. I'm glad they went classic alien with this one. I actually appreciate that. My issue is, and I've said this in my Letterboxd review, I can understand why this movie is interesting on paper. The idea of like aliens and the news and the way we like the news is distrustful now and revealing information. I understand on paper, you're like, yes, this is the story. But if you're giving me an alien story and the story you're giving me is we have to tell people their aliens are real, that's the least interesting thing about aliens to me in a movie, where it's like, I want to know about the alien. I want to see the alien. I want to learn more about the alien. I know the alien exists 20 minutes into the movie. It's not that interesting for me to watch you guys reveal the alien. In world, I understand why they all think it's important. I would think it's the most important thing in the world. I understand that. Like from like a character perspective, I understand. But from a narrative perspective, I'm like, oh, so it's just them trying to tell the world there's aliens? That's not that interesting in a movie.
Yeah. To me, the most interesting part was when Josh O'Connor's character, Daniel, is showing his girlfriend, like, the footage of them kind of torturing the aliens. And, that stuff is probably, like, the most effective part of the movie to me, because you're actually seeing, the point of what everyone is working towards.
Yeah.
The information that they're trying to disclose. And then once it all comes together at the end, it's like, okay, sure, there's more footage, but you're like, I've seen this before. And that's not even really my biggest issue with it. I think the biggest thing that this film doesn't do is there's too much going on in terms of like what it's trying to say about humanity and their relationship to the aliens.
So let's start from the beginning a little bit, just to some table setting. So like this movie opens with like the weirdest shot.
The pro wrestling.
I felt like the second that started, I was like, is this the right movie?
Yeah, it's
And
confusing.
I'm also like, did they cut out something? Like, why are we starting here? David Kep is the writer, I think, and he's a good writer, but he can be a little hit or miss. I'm just making sure I'm
Yeah.
crediting the right guy here. Yeah, David Kep, and then story by Spielberg. So, and this was all developed after Fablemans, and I think there's a lot of Fablemans in this movie. Um, but I think this story starts. I think the screenplay is a mess for this thing. Like, how did you feel that it just drops you essentially into the second act as the first act?
I didn't mind it too much actually. I kind of like when movies throw you into the fire a lot of the time, and you kind of have to pick up on where the characters are and their motivations. But the thing that I'm kind of wondering is, was Josh O'Connor at that wrestling match to give over the information in exchange for his girlfriend?
I
That was
think
the whole
so.
thing, right? Is that
Yeah.
they kidnapped her?
Yes.
And okay, so yeah, I don't mind like skipping right to that rather than 20 minutes of setting up everything that came before that. Especially because this is a 2.5 hour movie,
It's a
so
long movie.
they had other stuff to get to. So yeah, I didn't mind that. It does take you a little while to get oriented, but once they get outside and he's kind of surrounded by I forget what the government people are.
Yeah, I
What's
don't
their
know.
name? Wardex.
Wardex.
Wardex. Yeah. Once Wardex kind of surrounds them, you're like, okay, I get the stakes here. Josh O'Connor's got the information. They're trying to get it. Girlfriend was held hostage. Got it. Let's go.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. In a vacuum, I also prefer a lot of times when a movie just drops me in. Like, yeah, let's get into it. Like, I can trust the audience. I just think they do a bad job of explaining it. Like in retrospect, where it's like, okay, we're gonna drop people in, but we need to explain what's happening, who these people are. When it starts, I'm like, is this his girlfriend, his sister? Is it a friend?
I did think it was his sister for the first like couple minutes.
I hated their relationship. I thought it made no sense. I thought they had zero chemistry. And I think part of it is like, I agree with you. I'm like, I would be cool of them dropping this in the world. I just think they do a bad job of setting the table once they're having to explain it and they have to give us the exposition. Because then we go to the convent or whatever it is with the nuns, and she's like, you were a nun, you were in jail. And I'm like, do they know each other? Like, have they ever met? And
Well,
like,
they haven't been together that long, right?
yeah, but like, to me, then like, why is this even a couple or anything? Like, it just felt like weird writing to me.
She does kind of feel like a plot device at times.
I also, Eve Hewson. Do you know who her father is?
Bono.
Bono. That so funny.
I found that out afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting,
Random,
I
and
guess.
she's been in stuff I've seen randomly. She was in Jay Kelly, which
Yeah.
was small part. Unfortunately, I think she is not good in this movie. Maybe it's partially your character. I really dislike this character. I
It's
think
kind of a thankless part.
I think she's like kind of just like the worst part of it, and every time like she's the focus of a scene, I'm like a little annoyed.
Yeah, I don't think it's her performance though. I do think she's very underwritten. Is obviously like once they get to that house,
Yeah.
where they're hanging out, and what's his name? Colin Firth is like doing this mind control stuff.
Yeah.
Like she feels very much like, okay, we're just using her to advance the plot and try to
Yeah.
throw things at our main characters that are going to trip them up.
Yeah, and before we head fully into that, yeah, I really just like struggled to find. It felt like a lot of things were put in not for no reason, but just like a little slapdash, I guess. In terms of just like character, like story, like I don't know how you feel. I think all of the religious stuff in this movie felt very ham-fisted in. I felt like if you kind of cut that chunk out of it, it doesn't change the movie like really at all. And I got really annoyed actually the scene because it felt like kind of not the movie's place really, like where he's like aliens and she's like, but what about God? And I'm like, alien, like this is what you're being chased by government agents and there's aliens and you're like, we can't show it because of, I'm like, you're not even in the church anymore, like I don't know,
Yeah,
that felt
it's
stuff.
it's really messy.
It's
There's
so
there's
messy.
too many things that it's trying to balance on commentary wise, and that's
Yeah.
definitely one of them that was a little bit tacked on, it feels like. And it's good for the marketing, when you get in the trailer the shot of all the nuns watching, and
Yeah.
how could he make a world so vast and only for us, like that's a great line.
It's a
Let's put
great
that in the
line.
trailer. Yeah. So there's some stuff that I think maybe Kep or Spielberg just wanted to like throw in there to get some good dialogue or some good
And Spielberg,
one-liners.
I feel like, has had like a strange relationship with his own spirituality and religion, where like I feel like he was not really practicing, and then he kind of is, kind of refound it a little bit. I don't know to what degree. He doesn't really talk about it a ton, but
Yeah, he seems like a very spiritual person,
yeah,
whether that be like religion or just like general mysticism, like what's
yeah,
out there. Is it aliens? Is it God? He's very interested in like the mystical
yeah,
elements of the world.
yeah. I like understand like the line where it's like, oh, but like, are we God's only creatures on Earth? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, like,
Yeah,
sure, but that feels like for a different movie. Like, it just,
yeah,
it doesn't feel like it fits in this movie, and it really has no bearing on anything else besides this character, who's already like a character I don't like. To go back for a second, Josh O'Connor, one of our main characters, and I think it's kind of a Spielbergy thing where it's like kind of two main characters, but then he becomes more of a supporting character towards the end of the movie. What did you think of his performance?
I think he is like slowly becoming one of my favorite actors. Um, I really, really liked him in Wake Up Dead Man. I
He's
didn't
very
see The
good in that.
Mastermind last year, but I heard he was really good in
He's
that.
he's really good in that too. He's also becoming one of my favorite new actors.
Yeah. That said, I think he's fine in this movie. It's maybe not the best part, um,
I
but
totally agree.
I didn't have any problems with his performance. I think he's pretty much, I'm signing up for whatever he's in these days. So I think he was good.
Yeah.
Um, but next to Emily Blunt shined a
Sure.
lot
It's
brighter.
it's not it's more of a thankless role later on. I kind of think he's like he's good in the movie. He does a lot good. He's very captivating.
He's got that face where
He's got
it's
that
like
face.
where it's just like you could deliver very serious information just very somberly, just be like, wow, it's just
He's
I
awesome.
feel what he's feeling. He's very empathetic as a performer.
He's such a great performer, and like his Challenger's performance is like one of my favorites in the
Yeah.
last couple years. He's amazing in La Chimera.
Hmm.
Um, like again, like a guy that is just like skyrocketing into like one of the better actors of like this decade.
Yep.
I agree. This is like it's not even his fault. It's just like an okay role for him. I think kind of though, in a way, I kind of think he's miscast. And mostly because I saw like kind of a tweet about this and I agreed afterwards where, and we'll get into it more later on the scene itself, but when it's revealed that him and Emily Blunt have this connection, and they went through this thing together, as children, they're supposed to be the same age, and they are so not. And I think one thing that would have helped that is if they felt like they were from the same like generation of actors, like because they don't feel very connected, quite honestly. They do feel very disconnected in the movie, even when they are connected. I don't feel like they mesh in the way that they need to, and I think like a better pairing for Blunt would have made the stuff later hit a little harder. Personally, and it's not to say that Josh isn't good. I just think like what the character is asking for is just bringing in more context that you need a different actor for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Kind of. Yeah, I sort of bought that they were the same age because at the time I was like thinking, I know Josh O'Connor's like probably a little older than we think. He's 36, I think.
Is he actually?
Yeah. And Emily Blunt, I guess, is about
She's like
43.
She's 43.
So
yeah,
not too different.
I think it's more they come from different generations of acting.
Yeah, Emily Blunt's been around a lot longer.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes sense. I didn't really, harp on that too much, but I do get what you're saying. The chemistry that they have is there, but it's not the best. And I think, at least for me, like later on, and as the film goes, I'm way more interested in what she's doing.
100%.
At first, maybe you're a little more drawn to him, whereas with Emily Blunt, there's just like a lot of weird stuff going on that's kind of interesting, but you're still trying to wrap your head around it. But
Yeah.
once we get to like Act 2, Act 3, I think you're far more interested in Emily Blunt's character and what everything means for her.
Oh, for sure. And I think that like, yeah, she's given like a lot more of like the juicier like stuff
Yeah.
over there. So the other stuff that's like I guess just setting up the other plot is just like the Colin Firth of it all. Who's good as the villain? I liked
Yeah.
him quite a bit.
Pretty
It's been a
good.
minute since I feel like there was a great Firth performance. An actor I always like and stuff, but it's good to see him kind of have fun with this role and really like revel in being just like the evil guy.
Yeah, he's really like going almost full Bond villain at times.
He's good with the thing when he's using this.
Yeah, and he's got the mouth guard, and he's just
the
like
mouth guard, and he's got the beard, and he's
Yeah.
good. And
British.
and British, which I like that they kept him British. I always think it's funny when British people are like working for the American government, where I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right,
O'Connor and Blunt, both British.
yeah,
And then
and
Colin Firth just inexplicably British in this
Connor,
movie.
Emily Blunt too, all Brit, yeah, British. Everyone's British. Yeah, and then so like really the whole plot of the movie is like he stole government secrets, which were they found aliens and they've been torturing them and keeping them a secret, and they found out. And I think for what the movie is trying to accomplish, I think it is smart that they just make them your classic alien, and that they are using real myths in the footage, like Area 51. Apparently, the thing with Nixon was based on like a real myth, where he would like show people aliens when he was drunk or something, or be like, pull out the alien carcass or whatever. And like all that stuff is like you're like the most effective because you're like, holy shit, a fucking alien! Like, isn't that awesome?
So part of the reason why I was never probably going to love this film, although at points I did think like, wow,
Yeah.
like this is way better than I thought it was going to be. But I'm not as interested in aliens as the normal person, I guess, because I've kind of just accepted that they probably exist. And I don't know that we'll ever come in contact with them. They are probably so many million light years away that, if we did ever come in contact with them, like, yeah, that would be a big deal. But like, in terms of mass government cover-up conspiracies, I'm just like, they probably have some stuff. Do I care that much? No. Do I care as much as Spielberg? Like, I don't know that anyone cares as much as him. And it's funny that he keeps coming back to this theme of aliens.
I think it's just such an interesting metaphor too, though. Just like I think there's just so much rich thematic stuff you can just pull from aliens, so it just seems like kind of an easy cipher for him to use to kind of talk about how he's feeling about things. It's funny you say that because like I don't care in real life as much about aliens. Like, I believe they're there. I believe maybe the US has stuff. I My thought is like, until I see it, whatever. I don't know. Like, I believe it's there. I believe they're probably hiding some stuff from us, but like, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
Like,
And that's where this movie I think is like it kind of suffers is that it's like the whole point is that there are aliens. But I think the best alien movies and, media has to do with like the consequences of the aliens and what it means for humanity. This movie ends with the reveal to the world, and we don't get to see any of the consequences. And I get that that's kind of the point, but to me, that's like not interesting. And there's so many other things along the way that we could have learned that are not revealed. And so when you're asking yourself these questions about what this all means and why aliens, the movie's just like, we're not going to answer that.
okay, then here's a good question actually. What are your like what are the alien movies to you that like are like do it right? Cuz when you say that, I think of like District 9 is a good movie about like aliens as a metaphor for, immigrants and like the aftermath of what happens when you find aliens but then like they're in slums, or is it like Alien is about aliens in space. That's different. You have E.T., which is amazing, but that's again like more of a children's
Yeah.
like in alien lands we got to send it home. Like there's so many angles. I feel like for me I like the exploration of finding the aliens and like understanding why. Like I like, why are they probing us? What are they looking for? Like I like the questions that they pose and like the exploration of like finding them and why are they here and
Well, yeah,
those
the why are they
things.
here is never explored here, really.
Well, that's one of my issues
Yeah.
here specifically.
And that's the whole point of the film Arrival, which I think is a masterpiece
You know, I,
where
I
the
yeah,
aliens
wait,
show
say
up
yeah.
and the whole point is like figuring out what they want and how they break that down, and ultimately the the climax of that film, which becomes like very emotionally very powerful and like very cool in terms of like a science fiction concept. I think that is like a masterful example of an alien film. And then a a book series that I haven't read, but
Books.
there's a Netflix show adaptation,
Oh,
Three Body
three
Problem,
body problem.
which I think is another really interesting
Have you been watching
example.
it?
I watched the first season. I do think there's another season coming out, but it hasn't yet.
Okay, yeah. I
Um,
started the first season. I didn't really like it, so I just kind of dropped it.
I think the books are probably better, um, but I do like the show is good, but I think the concept is what really kept me interested. Is because at first you're shown all this random stuff and you're like trying to figure out what it is, and then it is kind of revealed that it is aliens at a certain point, and then you have to kind of the characters figure out why and what and how do we respond. And so it's a very
Yeah.
interesting exploration of all those things.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Arrival. I actually rewatched Arrival in like 6 months ago or something. Really loved liked it less on a rewatch. It really didn't sit well with me as much as I used to. I thought I like loved it the first time. I feel like it has not aged as well as I wanted it to. Concept is still great. I don't know. It felt a little I don't know, cheesier to me. A lot of the emotional beats didn't really hit me as hard. But I know what you mean though in terms of like the structure of it and like more of the implications of what aliens mean. I'm actually less interested in that too. I'm more interested in the beforehand and the like the discovery. There was a good movie a few years ago called The Vast of Night. Um, Let me make sure that's what it's called. It was an indie alien movie that I think it came out during COVID, where I would just kind of watch whatever I heard about, and it was about these two kids who start hearing radio frequencies. Oh yeah, the vast of night. One night in New Mexico in the late 1950s, a switchboard operator and DJ start hearing strange signals over the radio frequency, and it's about them kind of like, are there aliens? Like, is something out there in our small town? That stuff gets me, and I know you don't like it, but we should talk about it because it's Spielberg. The Encounters of a Third Kind,
Yeah.
which we talked about in the Backrooms episode a little bit. I think is a masterpiece, and Jack does not like it.
Yeah, I
but,
don't really like it.
To me, that's what I like in an alien movie, because it's about like a guy sees an alien and it like drives him crazy, and he's trying to understand it, understand what they're here for and their purpose, and I find that very juicy and meaty.
Well, in that movie, he goes into like a psychosis. It's
I
like,
like it.
it's
I'm like,
not-
yeah, if I saw aliens, it would drive me crazy, and I'd be like, I gotta see them again.
You'd be building piles of dirt in your home.
I will
and
say-
abandoning your children.
Yes. And like that stuff confused me until the end. I was like, "Oh, that's why they were all going crazy like that." And then they found it. And yeah, there's so many angles you could take with an alien movie. Look, you can think of it wrong. That movie bangs, and it is one of
Boring.
the like most well-directed movies like I've ever seen.
The ships are really cool.
The
I
ship is
I love
awesome.
The ships.
What about the music? Like the do 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 do.
Yeah,
That stuff was
that
awesome.
little blonde kid just like kid needs a leash. Just
That
like
kid-
running all over the place.
Okay, the sequence in that movie where the kid gets sucked in is crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty good, I guess.
I love that movie. But like I guess I was expecting more of that in this, and it's much more of like The Post. Like really
It's
it is.
It's also kind of like a chase movie,
100%.
which I kind of enjoyed for the most part. Like just running away from the bad guys, like that's always pretty fun.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's like they go to the house. There's also Coleman Domingo, and
He's
then
in this movie.
he's there. He's good. He a kind of a thankless role, but he's good in it.
Yeah, just like the guy that holds all the cards and slowly reveals all the information, and it's like it's pretty easy to see what Spielberg's doing here with
Did
a lot of these
you-
characters.
Okay, and then we haven't really talked about Emily Blunt's character. Do you think this is her best performance?
I do. I think she's really, really good in this movie.
I think it's between this and maybe like Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, I think she's good in more of an action-y, physical role, but here she's doing so much. She's speaking multiple languages. She's having panic attacks. She's running around with her alien stick, doing all this stuff, and
She's great.
she has to deliver, the weight of the film at the end, and pretty much nails it, I think.
And I think it's a good job. The movie's playing off a lot of like old tropes that you can kind of click into easily, and like weather girl, local celebrity, like someone who's on the news. I think that's like an easy thing to grasp. Like someone who's on TV, playing off of like when you watch a weird thing of like a news reporter who has like a weird slip up on the news, and it's like
Yeah.
a viral clip, and playing off of that, being like, what if it was like
That's good. Yeah, keep doing that.
whatever the sound was. I like her setup of the Wyatt Russell boyfriend who's just like Wyatt Russell,
Just a dork.
dork. Hey, my music, I'm playing my gig. What's wrong with you? I think this is where the movie's like messy, but it works because she's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what's happening? There's the birds there. I have to go. And like, she's just like kind of panicking and freaking out. And you're like, what is happening? But you're able to catch on. I simultaneously appreciate the movie's unwillingness to like just flat out explain everything, but also find some of that structure to be a little sloppy in its execution.
But yeah, I think the stuff with Emily Blunt's character and her psychic powers are pretty interesting at first, like how she's able to communicate and speak all these languages, and then kind of just know what's going on in people's heads. Very cool stuff, and I think she plays those scenes very well. It gets a little less believable as the film goes on, and we can talk about some of the stuff that happens. But
Is that sound in the back Shelby eating?
can you hear it?
Yeah. You close the door or something?
No,
Or
she's
she, like,
just,
right
she's just right there.
All right, we can. It's fine.
All
Well,
right,
guys,
she's done.
all right. Don't worry.
Sorry,
It's
but
okay. Shelby's got to eat.
Okay, so do you want to go into the house and the car
Yeah,
chase, or
yeah, a little bit. So they end up at this house because so Josh O'Connor's working with Coleman Domingo, and there's some kind of resistance group, and you don't really know what their deal is because Coleman Domingo's like in some weird like theater thing, and you're like, okay, he's like telling him to get this info, and you're kind of in the Midwest, kind of moving around, and they end up at this house. It's Josh O'Connor and Eve Hewson, and that's where they reveal the aliens on the laptop. That's where she's like, but what about God? Like, okay. And then he leaves to make a call. She gets she gets Firth. She gets Firth.
Yeah.
She gets Firth, which I think was really cool. I like that stuff.
It's okay.
It's like a fun idea. I was like, okay, like they're giving us cool, fun, weird things. It could do a little too much. It's like a little too MacGuffin-y.
Yeah, it happens so many times too, and I don't know. It's almost like a trope at this point. Like I've seen it in so many science fiction films or TV shows where it's like mind control. It's like, all right, like I thought this was about the aliens, but it's really about all this powers that people have, and
But I
it's
like
a little
that
too
it's
much.
I like that it's like multiple things. I wish there was more aliens, but I like that it's like aliens and weird technology. Like I'm kind of like, fuck it, throw more sci-fi shit at me. Like let's just kind of have fun with it.
I kind of wish they stuck to at least like a couple things with the alien tech. It kind of
Yeah.
seems like as the film goes on that like they can really just do anything with these sticks that they have.
Yeah.
It gets a little like there's
It's
it adds to the like messiness of the film where there's just too much going on. You got mind control, you got reading minds, you got speaking languages.
and it's funny too because it's like he can control her body or see through her eyes, but also she can see him.
Yeah.
There's like a lot it does. And this is how they're able to find his location. I think a lot of that stuff is messy where they keep kind of finding him. They find interesting enough ways to like get around it, but the shot's good because it's kind of done in a oneer. But the shot where Josh O'Connor sees that they're all there and he like runs to the car
Yeah.
and gets in the car and starts driving, that stuff is fun.
That was
And then
really
and then the
sequence.
shot where he drives into the house, low key, I was like, leave her behind. She is just kind of a problem. But I respect that he can't leave his girlfriend. We'll get into this too now. There's a scene later, I forget who he's talking to, where he's like, I have felt this way. I like, since college, I lost all these friends. The only person I felt like I could connect to was, what's her name in it? The girlfriend.
Eve Houston.
What's her Eve Houston's name?
Give me a second. It is Jane.
Jane. He's like, she's the only one I felt close to or I can talk to. I was like, doesn't seem that way. Sorry, buddy. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Also, like everyone hated him because he was suddenly good at math, or like he couldn't
think he was
like communicate.
weird.
He only understood things in terms of math and math problems.
But he wasn't even acting that weird. Like, to be
No.
honest, like this is like where I think some of like you kind of need a writer that's better at this kind of weird dorky shit of like math, like mathing it out of like how it works. Cause I feel like, his power and Emily's power are not like well defined enough,
Not at all.
Emily. And I think later on, an issue with the movie becomes you're like, okay, Emily Blunt can like connect to every person. She can look at them and like feel them, and she has this connection to Josh O'Connor to like find him. And you're like, okay, but it doesn't feel like particularly special when you're watching it because he has no connection to her. It does not.
Yeah.
It feels very one sided. So when you get to the reveal in the third act, it feels a little forced because I think they should have built the connection between those two, make it stronger. It feels very like one person's over here, the other person's over here.
Yeah. I guess maybe that was like kind of the design of it, and maybe they were supposed to come together in a more meaningful way, but yeah, it didn't really land that way.
But it's just in the sense of like a lot of the movie at the end when it's skip around where you get the reveal of like they were both abducted by aliens as kids. Again, we don't know why these two children like 20 years ago were abducted.
Hmm.
Um kind of random, but they were abducted together at the same time and they were both given like a different gift essentially. That is like it is an interesting moment and it's one of my like favorite moments in the movie because it's like weird and interesting and but like it loses power because you don't really feel like there is a connection between them besides the fact that they can hear the language. Like I think that moment would hit like a brick wall if it felt like there was more between those two that they were kind of suffering from. And I think the fact it almost feels like the logic of the movie is being written in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, okay, we have these two characters and we gotta connect them somehow, so let's give them a backstory of they each shared this alien encounter when they were children.
I think if you work from that, I like that idea. I like the idea of these two people from different areas, but there really is nothing, not a lot beforehand to suggest that's the case. And I guess a good example, Mysterious Skin. You ever see Mysterious Skin?
Nope.
So call back from episode 2 when we talked Brick, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Mysterious Skin. It's a movie about a young gay man who claims he was abducted by aliens as a kid. And a lot of the movie is him kind of struggling with that and trying to understand like why he was abducted and what all this stuff means. And there's kind of more metaphors. And if you've seen the movie, you kind of know like what kind of a lot of that is. But I think like it was a traumatizing event and it like affected them more. I don't really like the fact that they are so like I guess it makes sense where like the animals are like sleeper cell activations for them where they like see it and they wake up where it's like the deer and then the bird. Um but again, even when that happens, it just feels like no one knows what's happening and I wish there was a little more of like the trauma response or the questioning of like I felt like something happened to me. Like they don't feel like anything like really happened to them
Yeah.
besides this.
I guess like Emily Blunt's character, she has moments where she like doesn't want to recall that, and it's hinted earlier in the film like, you know, when she was 10 something happened to her.
Yeah, and the
um
doctor.
but we don't really see that like play out in her character too much. And
Yeah.
same with Josh O'Connor. I mean, later he tells us about, I think it was like it didn't hit him until he was 20. He was able to like do all this math stuff. But like, yeah, it's really kind of an underwritten aspect of the film. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, it's hard to like put fully into words because I feel like I'd have to like look at the movie and be like this here, this, and I only saw it the one time. I just yeah struggled a little bit to kind of see the logic in the way that they kind of constructed this world fully. And that's the angle they came at it from of like yeah we're gonna reveal aliens. But the movie's not really about the aliens at all. It's just going to be really about us getting the information of them across. Now, I will say, the action stuff coming up like the scene so I guess just so I can like
So before we
follow
get
along in
to
my head.
the the scene where they are kind of reunited.
Yeah,
One
before that.
one of my least favorite parts of the film is so Josh O'Connor gets captured by the Vortex people, and Eve Houston gets away with the alien stick.
Yes, in the motel.
Yeah, in the motel, and so
I do like that scene though because I like how he tries to hide everything with the name on it, but he forgets about the paper.
He's not forgetting about that. Like, come on, like
It's a little, but I was like, okay,
he's ripping off that part of the.
He's too busy thinking about math.
Too busy thinking about math. But yeah, what I really okay. So then he gets captured. Emily Blunt finds him because she just knows. You know, she's got
and she's
the
being
powers
awesome.
of empathy.
She is like really fun to watch in this movie.
She is. She's selling it super well. Like that doesn't even really bother me. The part that bothers me is that when she gets there, she is able to tell all the security guards and all the Vortex people things about themselves, and they kind of are just so stunned that they let her go by.
I agree.
It's a little weird. It's a little like suspend your disbelief. But the part that really bothers me is when people start to see her as their like dead relatives and like just let her go. Or like you see the scene where she's appearing to Colin Firth's character as his dead wife or something.
It's his dead wife.
And she says something to him and he's just like, oh yeah, like I guess just let them go. And then they're like, hey, why'd you do that? And he's like, you know, it was just my dead wife that appeared to me, and so I had to just totally disregard everything that we've been doing the entire movie and just let them go. And then the guy that's like his right-hand man is like, screw that, I'm going after them. And then we get the action sequence with the train. But that part really it bothered me. I was just like, why is like surely we could have come up with something better than this.
I didn't love that part. I do think that's like you're either buying into this movie or you're not. Like I've heard people enjoy that scene, really be affected by it.
I was prior to this I was really trying to buy into it. Like I think everything up until this point was pretty much working for me with all the psychic powers and the, you know, everything that Emily Blunt's doing. She's selling it really well. But this part was just like a bridge too far for me, where I was just like, all right, now we're just the villains are making terrible decisions against what they're trying to do.
I think that's what bothered me too, is like people were laughing in my theater when it was cutting to them a little bit.
Yeah.
I respect the earnestness, I will say. Like I respect what they're going for. It didn't really land for me either, and I remember thinking like, you're just going to let them go? Like and also like when she's leaving, you know, it takes her a second for everyone, but then she's just looking at everyone. They're like, okay, like
they all just stare at her. No one's like, hey, are we going to let this happen?
It's a little forced in the way that it's constructed, and it feels again like there's just too many ideas that they're not really concisely being figured out. But I will say then the train sequence is incredible.
I do really like that. Yeah.
It's classic Spielberg. It's just like tense, high octane action. It's not long. It's like 4 or 5 minutes.
Probably even less. Yeah, it's really quick.
It's awesome, and I feel like it's the perfect encapsulation of like what he does so well, of like building tension that you're like, how are they going to get out of this? How are they going to avoid this? And like the way the train is coming down when the car's on the thing and they have to jump up and she trips, and like the way he's able to build that out and like make you, he gives you until the last possible second till relief. And I think that's like one of his superpowers as a director.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff is just fun. Like a little action scene thrown in, a little train sequence. And right after that, Emily Blunt has the like panic attack, which I think she sells really well. Like
in the train
very
car.
Good acting there.
Yeah.
And you know, Josh O'Connor has to like calm her down a little bit, and then they're finally arriving at the warehouse, I guess, after that, where they're building what is revealed to be her childhood home.
And I think she plays this scene really well where she's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
nuh-uh. Like,
that would be my reaction too. It's like, why is this here?
yeah, I do like as like, she's obviously like such a gorgeous actress. But like she plays like such a weirdo, like even before the thing happened,
Yeah,
like she's clearly like a weird person. And I like that dimension to her. And then here, like she feels so small, like so big, but so small where it's like this person has been thwarted into something that she did not agree to and is like being asked to be something that she's not ready to be yet.
yeah, and like relive all this trauma. And I like the line that she says where she's like, "I will not be your god" or something.
But I
That
don't
was
like that the person does the cross. I was like, all right, guys, like enough. Like that's one inch too far. Like just you could kneel. Like kneeling would be fine. Like let's. It was a little too much, but I like the idea, and I heard a good kind of take on it, which was like, Spielberg said that like building his old house for the Fablemans was like a traumatic experience a little bit. Like it was a very emotional experience.
yeah,
And I think he's working through that a little bit here of like building your house is not like, oh, fun. Like it can really have like an emotional weight to it. And I think that was like an idea he was exploring when he got to this part in the story, which it feels very Spielberg, especially
yeah.
like very Fablemans, which I liked. And
I do want to just mention we talked about it a little bit before, but I really love The Fablemans. I think that is like one of the best Spielberg films out there, and it's because
it's
it's
up
so
there for me.
personal to
Yeah.
him. And I know it took him like a really long time to make that film because he didn't want to, because it was
Yeah.
like you said, very hard for him to go back to that place.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's so great, and those are more of the films I respond to. Obviously, is like the personal, the human experience
At
side of
the
things.
at the end, maybe we can say what our top Spielberg movies are.
Yeah, but I think about the one scene all the time where his parents are telling him that they're getting divorced, and you see him like filming it, like
In the mirror,
yeah, like
so good.
I think about that all the time. He's
It's
just
an
like it's
incredible
him
scene.
turning it into a movie and thinking about
Yeah.
turning it into a movie in real time.
Yeah,
And you're watching the movie of it's like it's so crazy.
it's the shit. That movie rules.
It does.
Yeah. Going back to this, and just to kind of cover some ground, Jane is also like, she's gonna end up back at the news network, but she's calling like the old nun, and she's like, "Hey, what should I do?" And her nun's like,
Oh yeah, because before she was telling Josh O'Connor's character, I keep just referring to the actor
It's
names,
fine.
but
Yeah.
she's telling him at first when he reveals everything to her that he can't do this. She's kind of on the side of this is too much for people to handle. Like you can't.
Which is such a crazy reaction to me because I'd be like, yeah, we deserve to know. Like,
I get where she's coming from, and you do kind of need a character, I think, that pushes back. But it's really only for like 2 minutes that she pushes back. And it's
Yeah.
another way in
Yeah.
which her character feels like just a plot device, where she's just serving the purpose of the like,
Yeah.
is this a good idea? Should we release all this information? And then they're kind of like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna continue on.
she's very plot devicey in that way. But yeah, they set that up, and then they're at the house, and this is where they do the experiment where they're like, hey, there's some shit you gotta deal with. You gotta go take the magic stick, and you gotta go deal with it. And I think this sequence is effective. I think it's cool, the idea of like humans, would react kindly to animals. So like they disguise themselves as animals and they follow them. And I like that, like they disguise the ship as a house, so she's more comfortable walking into it. Like all those little flourishes, I think work really well.
Yeah.
And like I think the reveal where she turns and he's next to her is like sweet, and they like hold hands, like like I don't like that stuff is good to me, and I wanted more of that. Like that's the stuff in this movie that really works for me. Where I'm like, yes, give me the alien stuff in the Alien movie. That's what I like want to be here for.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
also wanted more. This is a little off topic, but I wanted more of Coleman Domingo interacting with the alien.
sure,
'Cause
yeah,
you find
why
out
not?
he's the guy that's been like, you know, heading up, communicating with the alien that they
Yeah.
have like in captivity, more or less. I want to know more about it. What were they talking about? Were they talking ball? Were they
Yeah.
were they sharing,
Show them in the Mets
swapping recipes? Like what was going
because
on
they're
there?
chillers, like they're friends or
Yeah,
something.
they're
So
homies. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that I agree. I could have used some of that, but I mean, that's the UFO sequence is like what you come here for. It's like what you go to the movies for. And it could have been grander. I understand what it is, but on the flip side of like why I think it's so great, when you get out of it, you're like, oh, they have this connection. And I was like, you did not sell me on that connection beforehand. Like this moment should be so powerful. And I think the fact that they don't feel like two people destined to connect is a problem.
yeah.
Um,
It's really only like Emily Blunt's psychic powers led her to Josh O'Connor, and that's really the only connection that they have. And then
yeah,
when she rescues him, she's like, "Oh, you're Daniel Kellner. Like, I need to come get you." And they're just like, "Okay."
and
And
like he's like, "Oh, do I know you?" But it could be like, "Oh, I know you from the TV." Like she's a weather woman.
or if he
Like,
just intuitively knew her and was like,
yeah, but I think just having a throwaway line of like, "You look familiar," is just not enough to sell
"No,
me on
yeah,
like on their connection. I just needed more, but in that relationship to like have the movie get to that like next level where I think it's hitting on those things.
yeah,
But then you kind of get to the point where you're like, okay, the aliens are real. We have the tapes now, the USBs, like 500 of them.
release the tapes."
And we got to go release the tapes. And I think this sequence, again, like it works. It's just not what I don't care a ton.
I liked watching them like scramble to set everything up.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt rolls in and she's like, "Hi, I need to go on the air. Like, we need a special report." And, of course, people just let her do it because that's what they do in this movie is they fall victim to her psychic powers. And
We should mention though when they go invisible.
yeah, that was another thing with the magic stick that I was just like, sure, we're going to make
Well,
the whole thing invisible.
It only like worked for me a little bit because I was like, okay, she actually has been like granted power from the alien, so maybe she could just do more with it. But it is kind of silly that it's like a catch-all for like whatever.
These aliens should be like super powerful.
They
Like,
should
with
be
all the
like
stuff that
the
they can
rulers over us. What's
do.
going
like,
on?
How did they get captured by us?
I
guess
don't know.
They ran out of sticks or something.
I
They
I
need
don't.
the
Yeah,
sticks.
maybe we somehow got their
Too
sticks.
too many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, the invisible thing was another like, all right, alien powers. But it was funny watching the guys run into the fire truck. That was pretty much it.
That was fun. I mean, look, there's good stuff in this movie. It's just like unfortunately it wasn't like just the highs that like we know Spielberg can hit, but yeah, now it's just kind of like the last 20 minutes or so of the movie where it's like yeah, the point of this whole movie was to get it at disclose what has happened. It is I hated that they said disclosure day in the
This
also
is Disclosure Day.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, you're not. So I saw someone be like, okay, you're not calling 9/11 9/11 on the day,
This
you
is
know?
9/11.
No, like you wait for that. That's later. But yeah, them setting up, I think them getting the news ready, all of that was really fun. Just like the build up to that is like well constructed. And then you get to the part where they reveal it, or no, they walk in. Colin Firth and his gang walk in. Another thing I was annoyed by, where it's like they turn the power off. She uses the magic stick to turn it back on, and they're like,
Yep.
fuck it."
Because of course, yeah. This also really bothered me. Is they're just like, what happened? Did I miss something? Where they suddenly are just like, yeah, let's just call it off. Colin Firth decides he sees his dead wife again, and he's just like,
My
no.
thought is that he knows the magic stick is too powerful and he can't stop it. So, because in the beginning when
Why don't they
Josh
just
O'Connor,
shoot her?
well, maybe
Shoot her
because
with the
maybe the
gun.
magic stick would stop it. I don't know. Like I'm giving them
Probably,
in this
yeah.
the benefit of the doubt of like they're letting you know that this thing could do anything. So like, why are you trying to stop her now? Because like she clearly is like so powerful.
Yeah, I'm reading like the Wikipedia. It says Jane returns, gives Margaret the stick, uses it to restore power. Defeated, Scanlon, I guess is his name. Scanlon decides to watch instead of continuing to stop them. Boyd leaves in anger. Why didn't Boyd just shoot her?
I know it doesn't.
Boyd almost threw them into a moving train. Like
Yeah.
he's just like, screw it. Like I don't care anymore.
I
Like,
did find
guess,
that.
but
I found it a little frustrating too. At that point, I'm like, the movie's about to end. So
yeah, I was just like, all right. I
Well-
was a little bit
yeah,
out on it at that point. I mean, I still liked it
Yeah.
overall, but I was a little less high on it than I was.
I just come
previously.
out of it thinking it's okay. I will say the other thing that affected my screening was that I saw it at an AMC, and the one I went to AMC Kips Bay, for whoever's listening, one of the many AMCs in New York. The AC was broken in the theater, and I was sweating. It was so
So
hot
rough.
in there. 2.5 hour movie. It was so hot. I wanted to go so bad. So when we're getting to this part, I'm like, fine, just like wrap it up. Like I gotta get out of here. And then I was with my girlfriend, and this woman behind us had her bare feet on the seat next to her. And so she bumps me and she's like, hey, look. And I turn and I just see this woman's bare feet and I start cracking up. And it's a little distracting. It was really funny, but I
Should
was
have told her to
I-
put her dogs away.
I almost did. And my girlfriend was like, no, just leave it. And she eventually put him down. But it was
Great experience.
it ruined it a little bit. I didn't have the most fun because and then I didn't have enough water too, and I didn't get up, and it was so hot, and I was like, I
poor
need
thing.
more water. Thank you. I
My
appreciate that.
condolences.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the movie you want to talk about? I do like for what the movie is. I like that it's like, okay, the alien pops out, he's looking all weird. He talks to it, it whispers to Josh O'Connor. He whispers to Emily Blunt, and then she's like, listen, we got some shit to say now.
Yeah.
I think it's effective for where you're ending the movie. We don't need anything more than that.
I mean, I get why that was the whole conceit of the
Yeah.
film, was probably that ending.
Yeah.
I will say the broadcaster on the national network who's kind of reacting to everything in real time, I think she has a pretty good performance in what she's trying to describe some of the clips and process it in real time, and is kind of stammering a little bit, and I think that's pretty interesting. The other thing is one line where they're like, we put it through the AI filter, and
Yeah.
it's 99.9% not AI. It's real.
Yeah.
Another line that they just had to throw in there because people would
They
say
had to.
yeah, which probably wasn't enough, but whatever. And then the last thing I'll say is I included this in my Letterboxd review, is that in the movie everyone in the entire world stops to watch this broadcast on their phone in the midst of World War III, which we haven't mentioned so far. World War III is about to break out.
I
And
can live with that because
I don't know, man.
when Osama was assassinated, that was breaking news. Everybody stopped what they were doing, type of thing.
Well, that's because it was a special presidential report. The president got on,
He did.
took over every channel and said, "We got him." And
We got him.
That was kind of it. It's a big thing in America, but all over the world, in every country, they're like, "Oh, Kansas City, they're talking about aliens. They have all this footage." I feel like half of people at least would not believe it. you know.
I do think it would be big though, because it's like, okay, when you look at the actual alien footage we have, it's a lot of just like weird lights and stuff. Um, if you had a video of like government officials torturing aliens, like real aliens, and you're like, this is confirmed real footage, that is getting boosted
Yeah,
immediately.
I don't know that everyone's like dropping what they're doing, and
I
it's like
would.
this moment of connection for the entire planet.
I'm
Like
dropping whatever
I
I'm
just,
doing.
I mean, sure, like maybe a lot of people are, but I just,
If you found out tomorrow aliens, you get a note that says breaking news, and there's like a link to like to watch it live, where it's like um, footage of aliens confirmed, U.S. government torturing them.
I mean,
What?
if I'm on the bus, if I'm waiting for the bus, which is one of the scenes, and the bus pulls up, I'm probably still getting on the bus. I'm like, I gotta get home. I'm not gonna like stand glued to my phone at the bus stop
I'll read on
because
the bus. I'll read on the
yeah, or
bus.
maybe I'll look at it on the bus or something. If I'm if I'm on a flight and it's the middle of the night, I'm probably still sleeping.
Oh,
Not gonna,
I'm wired after that.
if I'm like half asleep, I open up my phone. I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I'll check that out later. I'm like,
I think I
I'm
would
trying to
lose
go to
it.
sleep, bro. I don't know. But like even that aside, I don't know that it's like this moment of everyone feeling connected and like wow, like it's so much bigger than just us. Like
Yeah.
Kim Jong Un is probably still nuking us. Like he doesn't give a shit. Like it's
He
just,
might care about some aliens.
I don't know. I don't know where he's at with all this, but I gotta say, I wouldn't put it past him if he was like, well, all the more reason to just declare World War III. So
Yeah.
I don't know that it's really bringing the whole country together. Like there was another podcast, I think it was maybe Blank Check, where they talked about like maybe COVID was like the moment where it was like
Yeah.
the world rallies together and is like,
Yeah,
hey,
I
like
listened to
there's
that
this
too.
this really horrible disease going around. We all need to kind of like band together as humans, and instead it just divided us even further. Like there would be people maybe out there trying to like, we don't believe in the aliens, or we need to like declare war against the aliens and kill them all and like harness their powers for
Yeah, but we're not getting to that part yet. Like that would
I
be
guess
later.
that's a whole nother movie.
That's a whole other movie.
But I think Spielberg approaches this in like a very optimistic way where
Yeah.
he kind of frames it as like this uniting incident or event that brings humanity together. Just
He does.
maybe I'm too cynical, but I don't think
Yeah,
it
I'm
would be
usually the
that.
cynical one. I'm surprised that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more of a believer in aliens. I'm more of a an alien guy.
Big
I
alien
see
guy.
what you're saying. I do like how it's it's local Kansas news in this, or it's Kansas City, so it's Missouri. I don't remember. But that it goes from an affiliate to New York. Like the fact that even though she's breaking the news, it is like the main news network that is going to be like actually breaking a
Yeah.
lot of it too. Like I think it's like smart in its construction, and just from like technically and stuff. Like I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, this like
The newsroom stuff is interesting.
yeah,
How they go about bringing everything out.
yeah, and I guess that's Disclosure Day. I'm trying to think if I have any kind of final thoughts. I think it's like a well shot movie. I think
Good
Spielberg good score. I think Spielberg's blocking is like really good in this movie. He's like a lot of great framing and like some nice movement in this movie, just like stuff that like he knows like very intuitively.
Yeah.
All that stuff like really was nice to watch. I just wish the story was just, I mean, besides just being different, just like it was just like a little too much of a mess. And like, who knows if this ends up becoming like more of a cult classic of his, but I think I might struggle to like enjoy it even on a rewatch, even though there are things that are good about it. Like it's not a bad movie. It's just like when you have the standards of what he can do, I was disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not like excited to rewatch this. I don't know if I ever will.
Maybe one day.
The Spielberg heads really seem in the bag for it. So there's a lot of people that
I
think
thought I
it's
was
a
more of a
masterpiece.
Spielberg head. I guess I'm a little less of a Spielberg head, even though I do enjoy him quite a bit.
Well, you're being objective about it,
I
and
am.
that's what the listeners and I
That's what they
appreciate
want.
about you.
Yeah.
We bring objectivity. We're not.
I we do. Yeah. When I can see why people would like this. You have to just really be in the bag for like the energy it's bringing, and I
Yeah.
think right off the rip, I just was struggling to get on its wavelength, and I think a lot of people will, and I don't blame them. And I'm usually the guy that's like fighting for the auteur opinion of this, but this movie I really think is like it's a real mixed bag with
Yeah.
like a lot of good ideas and a lot of like a great Emily Blunt with like a very messy, uneven script that like has some really nice highs and fun moments, but like a lot of complicated no's and like lows
Yeah.
that like make it a tough like complete picture.
Yeah. I mean, I gave it 3.5 stars on
I
Letterboxd. Like, I think
I'd
the
probably
first
give it
two
like
thirds,
three.
the first 2/3, I was pretty on board for, but once it just continues to kind of go off the rails with the alien powers and some of the decisions that the Vortex people are making and the whole kind of way it culminates, I thought was really disjointed. So yeah, I think, like you said, a lot of good, a lot of stuff that was not necessary or was just kind of messy. But overall, I think it could have been worse.
It's so funny you say that because, or like the way that you liked it until the end. Because like I really disliked the beginning and then had to kind of it had to win me back a little bit, where I was like more okay with a lot of that stuff, just kind of going with the flow, even if I didn't like think it all made sense. I think the first act of this movie is like a real mess that like if you like fix that, I think this movie gets like more like significantly like better, even if I still don't love the angle of the alien stuff. Like I still think I would like it a lot more if it wasn't such a mess in the beginning, just kind of setting
Yeah,
all the pieces.
I think the beginning didn't bother me as much. I was probably about like 3.5 in the beginning, and then maybe I got up to like a 4 in the second half or the second act, and then once the end, I was probably like more down to like a 2.5, and then so I'm in the middle. I look at the whole
Yeah,
film, and so yeah, that's how I landed at 3.5. But yeah,
there,
it's like
there you
kind
go.
of a up and down. Up and down.
Yeah, a movie that I feel like I appreciate talking about because I think there's a lot to work through, but ultimately not one that I love. Let me hear, I don't know, your top 10 Spielberg movies
Top
because he's got a
10.
lot.
I don't know if I.
Have you even
Okay,
seen
well,
10?
I have seen 10. A lot of them I haven't seen like a very long time. So like I remember really
Yeah,
liking
same.
all the Indiana Jones movies, but I haven't seen them in like
So,
a long time.
according to Letterboxd, I've seen 24 of his movies.
I've seen 15.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I haven't seen like there's a couple I haven't seen that are big, like Schindler's List. Just never really in the mood to like want to watch that. But I feel like I've seen most of his big ones. Maybe the ones that I haven't seen are Schindler's List, AI, and I did want to watch War of the Worlds. I will probably watch that soon.
War of the Worlds is like more kind of like cheesy fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time because
I'm in the
Tom
bag
Cruise.
for Cruise. Yeah. So
Yeah, AI and Schindler's List I like a lot. So
I would say like The Fablemans is really just like the one that I would want to rewatch all the time because I think it's so like
look, it's awesome. I think that's what's great about Spielberg is like everyone has like their one, or like there's so many movies you could be like that's my favorite Spielberg movie, and I'd be like yeah, makes sense. Like he has so many bangers.
yeah. I got to revisit at least the original trilogy of Indiana Jones.
So good.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, whatever. I saw it when it came out.
That was the first PG-13 movie I ever saw in theaters.
Probably same. I don't know for sure, but
So I have a soft spot for that movie, even if I don't love it.
And then, I
Yeah.
mean, Jaws is kind of just undeniable. Um, I think it's like really good. Not one of my favorite movies, but just like really good. And then, okay, so top five, I'll say Fableman,
Sure.
and in no particular order.
Okay.
Fableman's, Jaws, Indiana Jones, either one or three, whichever. It's been so long. Um, Minority Report, I really like, and probably Catch Me If You Can. I think that's really fun too.
Catch Me When You Can's great. My 10, and some of these, I haven't seen all of them in a long time, so it's kind of a loose top 10. Number 10, Catch Me If You Can. Number 9, AI. Number 8, Saving Private Ryan. Number
I don't really care for that movie.
I think it's awesome, but I also
I think
have not
it's
seen it
fine.
in like a decade. So
Yeah, I haven't
again,
seen it since college.
I have to
But
revisit some of these. So who knows how it was? He has so many good movies. Seven, Munich. Really like that movie. Again,
another one I haven't seen, but I've
I
heard
have to
is good.
revisit. Really good. Six, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Five, E.T. Again, I think it might go up on a rewatch, but love E.T. Four, The Fablemans. Three, Schindler's List. And one and two are kind of interchangeable, but Indiana Jones 1 and 3. Um, just love those movies. They're what you go to the movies for. Just like
Yeah,
really fun adventure movies, and I love 3. I know not everyone loves it as like much as I do. I think it's like pretty much just as good as 1. I don't think 2 is that good. I think 2 is like a real mess, but with like some great action in it. But 1 and 3, I really love both of those movies. So they're a bit interchangeable for me. But so many movies with Spielberg. So what a guy.
yeah. And I have seen Jurassic Park, but like it's been so long. So I don't know. I think maybe
That's not like one of my movies. It's a
yeah.
good. It's not really one of my like my favorites.
Yeah, I think Spielberg's, at least in my mind, kind of known for like spectacle and being very ahead of his time in a lot of his films. Like
Yeah.
Jaws obviously was like a revelation at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like scary. Um,
Yeah, I didn't even think it was scary when I was like 8 or whatever when I saw it the first time.
I saw E.T. when I was a kid, and I don't know that I really felt much.
Oh, I really liked E.T. as a kid.
But yeah, and like Save It Private Ryan, I think is like considered one of the greatest war movies. I don't know. I think there's probably some better ones in my opinion, but Minority Report, really interesting, like dystopian sci-fi, um, which I do really like. But oh yeah, Close Encounters, of course, just like aliens, spaceships, whatever.
Movie's so good.
Star Wars did it
Masterpiece.
better. Um,
So, okay. Yeah.
but
Great
yeah, I
own.
don't know. I never really connected emotionally with a lot of his films until The Fablemans, because that's the most
But I'll
honest
say
and the most real.
when you rewatch his old movies after seeing The Fablemans, they all kind of hit harder
Perhaps that's true.
through the Fablemans lens. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ones I have to see are like the lesser no or like seen ones. Like I've watched part of Tintin. I gotta finish that movie. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm never gonna watch that.
Oh, I will. Tintin's awesome. The Color Purple, Empire of the Sun. I've seen like part of Amistad. I want to watch like all of them
War
at some
Horse.
point. That one I probably will never watch. I want to
Ready
watch
Player
most of
One.
them.
I didn't watch that.
Oh,
I thought that was
I
kind
do
of like
not.
a slop movie when it
That's
came out.
that's my least favorite. I think it's that movie's not good. But whatever. That's our Spielberg. That's our Disclosure Day episode. Uh, I won't do the same album of the week that I did last week, even though it is lost to time. Instead, I'll pick another new album
I gotta
that
go get a physical media of the week. All
I,
right, you
I'll
talk
pick
about your
one.
album.
The album of the week, I'll put it right there, is Philadelphia's Been Good to Me by Kurt Vile. His twangy, kind of country rock, alt rock, vibey new album. he's kind of a journeyman at this point, Kurt Vile. You know, he came out of the band War on Drugs, another one of my like favorite modern bands. Even though they're a little older, just like another great band that he comes out of and starts making this like twangy rock. And you know, not all his albums have like landed for me, but he has a lot of great songs, and he's like one of those guys where I keep thinking he won't be able to keep making, like, I'm like, oh, this sound has been worn down. Like, there's nothing else he can really bring to it. And lo and behold, he finds a way to make a whole album of great music again. So, yeah, I got to stop counting him out. The album is Philadelphia's Been Good to Me by Kurt Vile.
Shout out Philly.
Shout out Philly. Great. It sounds not Philly at all. It's just vibe. It's like, just like kind of twangy vibe rock. But yeah, great album. Give it a listen.
Cool. This is totally off the cuff. Castle in the Sky. Great movie.
Great movie. That
great
video's
Miyazaki.
lost to time.
Yeah, unfortunately, your YouTube video's lost to time.
I mean, like an hour YouTube video about castles. Maybe it was like 45 minutes, but it
was
blocked
really
by
good too.
Ghibli. Thank you.
But yeah, I was very quickly thinking about what is a movie where people look at the sky a lot and wonder what's up there. Castle in the Sky. Definitely kind of Spielberg coded in a way. I hate that I don't have the steelbook of this because it's out of print.
I don't think I have it either. I have like, do I have the steelbook of it?
I might steal it from you.
No, I don't think I do.
It's been out of print for years.
I have a different steelbook,
which is crazy.
I think I have like the only yesterday steelbook, maybe.
Yeah, I'm slowly accumulating a lot of the Ghibli ones. I have Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and
maybe that's the one
Kiki's
I'll have to
Delivery
check after.
Service.
I don't have a ton of the steelbooks, but
I love a steelbook.
Great movie. Yeah, that's our Disclosure Day episode. Lot to talk with that one. I hope you guys liked it. You know, if you have any thoughts, let us know. And we'll see you for the next one.
Peace.